Okay, so while Elgin, our technical coordinator and wizard, and Mayreen, the global classroom coordinator, are working on getting things set up for our launch, let me begin to introduce myself and gradually we'll get everything connected. I think that, yes, online, they can all hear me. So if you can't hear me online, let Mayreen know, but I'm going to start getting the inner circle going. Welcome, everybody, to the Global Classroom at Durham College. This is Short History of the World, and I am your professor, Lon Appleby, and I think we're going to have a pretty spectacular series of classes this semester. So let me just explain what's going on, okay, and what you've signed up for. And that's what today is going to be, is that you're going to have a good sense at the end of these 90 minutes or so what you signed up for in Short History of the World and why I am actually giving a participation grade this semester of 20%. Um, and you're going to also understand the major content and the expectations that I have of you. And you're also going to do a little activity to help me understand what you're expecting of me. So by the end of today's class, if you feel for some reason this is not where you want to be as a Gen Ed elective, there are lots of great Gen Ed electives at the college, and you can drop this course and go elsewhere. Not a problem, okay? I just want you to know that today is your day where you're kind of checking this out to really understand why you signed up for this. And I just want to introduce Mayreen Khan, our Global Classroom Coordinator. You're going to be seeing her a lot with me throughout the semester. There's a lot for me to tell you about. But most importantly, I first need to do something that might put a nose or two out of joint. It's okay, it's not that bad. It's critical that we fill up these couches with 16 people so that there's always 2 people per couch and that we get these 4 seats right here filled. And the reason is, take a look um, at the monitor, okay? Take a look at the screen. You are in what we believe at Durham College is the most sophisticated multimedia classroom that anybody's created anywhere. And to prove that to you, I can tell you that Mayreen and I will be heading to Japan next year for the World Expo, which is like the world's fair. It's the Olympics of new science and technology held once every 5 years. It's where Nikola Tesla, for example, demonstrated electrical power for the first time. Thanks. Probably a lot of you know who Nikola Tesla is, but if you don't, I'll explain. So this classroom is different. It's intended to be. People can come in person. They can join synchronously online right now through our video conferencing system, Toria, and we're also live on YouTube as well. In addition, the YouTube recording in high def is posted for all of you after the class so that students who have signed up for the class only asynchronously online can watch the recordings too. So this is a super flex multimedia classroom that is attempting to demonstrate to the world that it is possible for a classroom to get ahead of where everyone is with technology and not be running to catch up. Academic institutions tend to be slow. We want to be faster, and the pandemic has taught us how to do that. So that's why, if you look at this, it's important that the people online and the recordings feel that they're a part of a class. That's what they're seeing. If they see empty seats, they think this is a lame, dead class and there's nobody here. So if they see you here and we get interacting, they're going to want to interact. And then everybody, however they join this class, asynchronously, synchronously, blah, blah, feels like they're part of being in this room. Does that make sense? We've designed it that way. So for those of you who feel okay to come and sit here in the inner circle right now, please do. Also, the class is going to get very interactive with a lot of discussion after my lectures. So this inner circle is going to be alive with all of you. So if you don't feel comfortable doing that, not a problem, okay? I completely understand. But that way, there we go. So for the students like Erica and Corey and Alex and all the others, do you know that in short history of the world this semester alone, I teach 3 courses here in the story of humanity, short history of the world, global leader, humanity's destiny. In just short history of the world alone, I have 102 students signed up for this course over 2 cohorts. And so a lot of them are going to be watching the recordings, and that's okay. So we need to make these recordings, and need to make the online experience really good for them. And if you want a nice, clear way of explaining this, this is like, imagine going to a live performance of Saturday Night Live. You were in New York, and you go to the studio, and you're there. You're the studio, but you're actually part of the whole show. You're the class. And then there are all these people watching around, and they're gonna be joining each way, but we have to make sure that the online experience is going to be good for everybody. And then when you review these recordings for your own assignments, you'll kind of like the fact that, "Oh, here we go, we're getting another comment from, you know, him." We'll get your name, and, "Oh, there's, that guy again, and he's really cool. He's talking a lot about, electromagnetism, and how did this guy know? He's a millwright and he loves to be building things and creating things, and all this stuff about tool making and the history of tool making in the human story. We're getting through this guy who really seems to know a lot about tools." Am I going too fast? Is it making sense? Yeah, great. Okay. So thank you for coming into the inner circle. And now you can see what's there, and I will show you what's happening on YouTube right now. But there's our YouTube live stream. Okay, 10-second delay or so. So the idea in kind of what we're building here is that we're trying to open up education for humanity. We're trying to say education now needs to change. It needs to get better. Otherwise, the religious wars will continue, the weapons of mass destruction will get greater, we will lose control of artificial intelligence, we will get leaders like, oh, I hate to say this because he's brilliant, Elon Musk, who is a great technician, but God, keep him away from X. He wants all that power for himself now. He loves attention. He and many others are ready to control you. And they will use technology any way they can to achieve the power that they want. Our job in this place is to make you smarter and ready to deal with a very, very complicated world today. And you cannot know the present until you know the past. You can't understand how it is that we have come to this point in history where this planet is being changed by humans unless you understand how we got to be doing that. What is it that's driving human beings to change the natural world? That's what we're doing. We're changing nature. It's the age of biological control. So it's really important that you feel when you come into this space that you're going to be going further in education now. And so I'm just going to stop for a moment, okay? Because there's so much to deal with today. And I just want to make sure that we're all good online. Maureen's going to get some notes going in a moment, and you'll see how that's going to work. Let's just see and check technically if we're able to hear anybody who wants to jump in online. So we have essentially a live cosmos right now. Nobody's showing their faces. That's okay. I would never demand that. Everybody is tired of being online, but at the same time, everybody wants to take advantage of it. So I understand that the people who are online now don't want to show their faces. So there's a cosmos there. I call them the planets. There's planet Corey Jean CJ, there's planet AS, there's planet AM, and I just need to know that we can hear them. So planet AM, hi, could you jump on your microphone and say hello to the people live in the spacecraft? Let's see if we can hear you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. Things are working today. It's only, the second or third class I've had this semester, but that's because Elgin and Mayreen are really on top of things. Great. So welcome. Hello, Adrian. Martin,
Hello.
I see your face. Hi.
Hi.
You don't need to use your cameras, but it's better if you do. And for example, I'll just show the students what happens. I can do this because I can control what happens in the video conference. So let's say Adrian begins to speak. Oop, I'll come back to, I'm in the wrong place. So Adrian begins to speak. So let's go to Adrian full screen. Before I started teaching, I had a long career in television and film and journalism. So I understand production. We need to make this interesting for you, okay? The tech has to work. This is not a PowerPoint class. This is something much more sophisticated than that, okay? So Adrian, thank you for showing us who you are, and how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Okay, so I'm not going to ask anything more of you right now, except that I'd like to say thank you, Mayreen and Elgin and Adrian, for making this work. Now I know that we're connected. Let me just stop because I want to take you through the content, how you're going to be assessed, so many things. First, does anyone have any questions at this early stage? I'm not expecting you to, okay? But if you do, I'm going to bring a microphone to you and you'll turn it on, and it's like karaoke, talk like that. And that way, Adrian and all the others watching the recordings will hear you like a podcast, nice and close, not like far away, microphone up in the ceiling, camera looking down on everybody like everybody's in jail. I understand production. The camera has to be closer. The audio has to, that's all. So I've just worked a little harder with everybody here at the college to make this work. The multimedia classroom at Durham College of the future. The human story on planet Earth for all of humanity. Short history of the world. Global leader, humanity's destiny. That's what I teach. So is it okay if I continue to talk a little bit? Are you okay with that? You're going to get lots of opportunities to talk and meet all of your classmates today. But let me just see online. For the folks online, Adrian and the others, is there anything you would like to say early on to the class? You're welcome to it. Just you can either enter your comments in the live chat, or you can jump on your microphone and speak. And even better, like Adrian has done, we can bring you right into the class by seeing you big face with everybody. So, Adrian, anything you want to say at this point?
I'm happy to choose this course, and I'm happy to learn about humanity and everything that's going on now. And I want to make this world a better place. So I can't wait to learn that in this course.
Lovely. What program are you in?
Sport management.
Great. Have you been watching any of the Paralympics?
A little bit, not too much. I've been watching mostly highlights.
Highlights. Did you see that incredible moment last night when the Canadian wheelchair race? And did you see his wife?
Yeah, I saw his wife. Yeah.
Oh, T- Adrian, I'll fill in the blanks here if you don't. But who's the wife, and why is the wife important here?
I don't remember the name, but
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen to this. Okay. I love watching all this stuff with my wife and, like many. But yesterday in Paris in the Paralympics, a Canadian from Quebec, I think, I forget his name. You may remember, Adrian. He won the gold medal in the wheelchair racing around. And at the beginning of the race, the commentator, the CBC commentator, said in her female voice, "I have to declare myself. I'm the wife of the Canadian who's racing here. So I'm going to try and control my emotion if he does well." So sure enough, the race begins, 800 meters, two ways around track. And this guy pulls away from his, I don't know, it was a guy from Vietnam or his adversary that he's always been winning only silver medals against. He's never won a gold because this guy is always in his way. But this Canadian figured out how to kind of maneuver. I don't know exactly what the strategy was, and he won. So the wife, you can hear her, she's trying to control herself and say, yes, he's done well. But then CBC showed a little video of the control room afterwards to show her on what she was doing with the commentator. And it was just hilarious. She was jumping onto her seat. Her hands were in her head as she's watching her husband, coming around to the end. And it turns out she too is also has a disability as well, and she's an athlete. And so it was just a wonderful moment, Adrian, of the the couple winning the gold medal kind of together. If I'm sure that's going to be virally that moment. Has anyone seen that moment when the Canadian? Well, check it out. Okay. Well, thanks, Adrian. Anybody else in the cosmos? Corey, Jean, Erica, Kyle. I don't have all of you. Do any of you have something you'd like to say, or even just introduce yourself? You don't have to, but I'll just go through. Here's the rest of the onliners right now: Stavros, Sanjeev, Mubarak, Maurice, Matt, Kyle. And then for all of you just watching the recordings later, welcome to Short History of the World. We are just starting to get blasted off here. So, okay. Well, let me tell you how this is going to work. All right. The first thing I'd like you to know is there are no PowerPoints for you this semester. That's a different kind of class, and that's the old way, the prepackaged way of delivering education. Everything here is live, but we do our slides live. Watch, for example, okay? Maureen, can you go over to the screen? Right now, she's going to demonstrate how we're going to do notes together. But she gets very busy, so eventually one of you will be there. In fact, each class, if you want a bonus for your participation, you go over there and take notes while we do the class. In other words, we create knowledge together. I guide it. I lecture to you at the beginning. The notes go there, but then when we have our discussions, there's a lot of important stuff that comes from you. That's got to get into the notes. That's real live knowledge from all of you that's important. Make sense? Okay, so let's do our first slide. Okay, here we have Friday, September the 6th, a short history of the world. Today, could you just write today, course overview? And then just write down expectations. But here comes the new part. See, I could have made that slide years ago and just now go to it. And what do you want today's class to be? Now, I have my plan. There will always be a structure every class. I will explain how that's all going to work. But I want to make it clear right from the start that you matter. I haven't just asked for you to be here so that you can get easy marks. What you have to say is important. So let's see. Okay, and I'll put a little pressure on early on. Now, the one thing you're going to find in this class is I don't demand that you turn off your devices. I don't demand that you put down your laptop. I believe we should use our machines wisely. And in the human story, you're going to learn a lot about the human's relationship with a machine. It's a tool. Humans are tool makers. We love to make tools. We have a lot of students in this class, I think from the Whitby campus, who create things, the millwrights and others, and they will really understand that. So no problem. But if you have your device open and you find yourself getting bored and you find yourself disappearing into the online world to make yourself unbored, which is what we do today, ask yourself a question. Am I losing my mind? Is it possible that me, human, after just 10,000 years of civilization, you're going to get the whole story starting next week. I'm going to go all the way back chronologically from the Big Bang up to the creation of the planet, civilization, the empires, who was wearing the ring, who was Frodo, who wasn't. Lord of the Rings, it's a great story. Who's Gandalf in this? Who isn't? But one thing you're going to see is that we humans have done something remarkable in a very short period of time compared to your dog or the squirrels or the whales or the dolphins or the crocodiles or the feathered dinosaurs that were here. You know, dinosaurs once had feathers. They were the birds. You'll see the story of evolution. But one very critical thing is that when we began to civilize 10,000 years ago and create our first sort of settlements that grew into cities and empires, we became extremely dependent on our tools. We love our tools. I believe today that we are in danger of becoming slaves to our tools in a way that is not good for humanity. And so when you find yourself disappearing online, maybe you will reflect on your relationship with your machine and why you're doing that. And maybe you will ask yourself, is it possible that I am losing my ability to interact with people in person? Is it possible that the pandemic, apart and many other things, has created a new human that is scared all the time, is stressed all the time, gets violent when things aren't going so well, very impulsive, can't reflect, can't think, and disappears online to watch videos and this and that, and just gets more and more bored, more and more stressed. So my purpose in letting you use your tools is so that we can take advantage of them in the classes with great research and all sorts of activities. But if you find listening to me or listening to others that you're suddenly going to your phone, going to your laptop, why don't you ask yourself, what the hell am I doing? Don't I know how to sit with other people and just be still? Don't I know how to listen to a human being and have an interaction? What might happen to us humans if we can't talk to each other anymore? Is this making sense? Yes? Or am I kind of going way too far down a creek here, and we got to come back to the river or the ocean. Is it kind of making sense? Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So first, we have to get something up there, and then we're going to the next slide. What would you like today's class to be? Why are you here? Good. Okay, great. So, what's your name?
My name's Alec.
Alec. Welcome, Alec.
Thank you. I wanted to learn more about the coming of civilizations and the infrastructure and buildings of the different cities and towns.
Yes. Okay. So, expectations. The coming of civilization?
Well, different civilizations.
Different civilizations. Okay. Learn about different civilizations.
If you look at like history, you look at like the Romans and the aqueducts, and then
Yeah.
you look at like England and the way that they did the sewer system. It's all different and changes and evolves over time.
That's a very good point. Do you know that world history has been a growing field in the last decades, and world history has also been advancing, but comparing and contrasting cultures and civilizations is really an important part of this. So Alec, in his request to want something that has that comparison and contrast, that maybe the difference between the great English Empire, the first, global empire, where it was said the sun would never set on a part of the English Empire until they gave it all up in the 20th century. How does it compare to the Roman Empire? Why did the Roman Empire fall? And the English Empire? What happens to empires? But it's a good point. Thanks. Okay. So, comparing and contrasting civilizations, understanding empires. What program are you in, Alec?
Computer technology. Computer technology.
Computer technology.
Although I did 8 years in healthcare before I came to school.
Wow. So the diversity here we're going to learn is really cool. We have younger people, we have not so young people, we have older people here, 60s, and we have people of different backgrounds and races and religions. And you're living at the time, it's said by historians, when the world has become a planet. That's irreversible. You see, this planet now, we know it's there. We've seen pictures of it. We're living at the time in history, unlike any other species, where we see the whole planet. And world historians are asking themselves the question, and many others, well, if we know for certain there is this planet, Earth, and we've seen it, and the moon landing is real, it happened, it's not a conspiracy theory, science and technology have helped us to see a broader perspective, then the question you ask is, well, what is the bigger story down there on planet Earth? What's been happening there? It's not just history about the world wars or one particular culture here, the Eastern world or Western world. It's like we want to know the whole thing. Here's the big question we're going to put in our slide, the next one. What is the totality? What is the totality of my existence? It's very philosophical. I want the big picture in this class. What is the big picture? Okay, that's slide number 1. Let's go around a little bit, and then I'm going to take you, and I'm going to, you can keep that, okay? I want to take you through the whole story that you're going to get week to week. But let's check and see if there's anything happening up here in the live chat. Nothing. Adrian's still there. I'm going to bring back for everybody, because I can control this so everybody sees the room. Come on in. The story. Could you please write down the story? Today we're just getting the whole overview. And then in about 20 minutes or so, I'd like to get you to do an activity together. And the way it will generally work each class is I will give a little lecture up until around 1 o'clock or so. Then we'll have an activity and we'll do a take up together. And then we'll end the class 15 minutes early. So no break at the top of the hour, but we end 15 minutes early. Is that okay? You good with that? Yeah. Great, Alec. Okay. So please do your business before the class, whatever it is. When you come in here, we're taking our surfboards, we're getting on the waves at the beach, and we're disappearing for 90 minutes. In a way, we're going to go around the planet for 90 minutes, like the International Space Station, which we'll show you a little bit later on the wall. But there's a great view from the International Space Station of a high-definition camera showing a live view of the planet as it orbits the planet, and it takes about 90 minutes to go around the planet or the space station. So I like to think that we're going to spend 90 minutes going around the planet, and then we come back at the end. But you have to see that great view. Have any of you seen the ISS's view of the planet from, yeah? Here's a big thinker right here. Okay. So next week is when it really begins, okay? Here's how the structure is going to work. Next week, we start with where we begin. And I'm going to take you through with a presentation, some videos, images, a lecture, a kind of multimedia lecture from the Big Bang, 13.7 billion years ago, up into essentially the early emergence of humans, which is about 7 million years ago. So I'm going to blow through 13 billion years to show you what the latest science tells us about how it all happened. We're also going to look at creation stories, creation myths, because as it happens, there are kind of two ways that you can look at the story of the human on planet Earth. You can take the modern way, which is the way we generally live in, and that's we go to science to help us to understand the truth, and we have proof, and we have a scientific method, and we do experiments, and we get evidence, and then we can say, just like a jury says in a courtroom, this person is not guilty or guilty. There is a thing called evidence. But then there's religion. I think you have a good sense right now listening to me that I'm probably a science guy, but the importance of religion in this story, in understanding who we are and what we're supposed to do here, is as important as science. They can coexist. Religions, indigenous cultures, they all have their creation stories. Go to the great civilization of India, Hinduism. Take a look at the Hindu story of creation. Go to the Buddhists. Go to the Muslims. Go to the Jews. Go to the Christians. Wait a minute. Did I just say I'm a Jew and that's Muslim? Wow. Yeah. We're close. I respect her. She's a wonderful person and a great student, and I'm so glad to have her in here. As a matter of fact, Jews and Muslims, they don't hate each other. But there's a war going on. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about everything. First class, where we begin. How did nature take shape? You see, we come out of nature. Oh. Week 3, the ascent of humanity. I take you from 7 million years ago, which is what we call the Great Divergence, and that's generally when the human line, the hominins, broke off from the primate shared ancestor. We share our ancestry with chimpanzees and gorillas and monkeys, but humans broke off and diverged. And then we started to really advance. And I'll take you up to the beginning of civilization in week 3. So by week 3, when we begin To understand how civilization got created, we're going to spend the whole rest of the class, the whole semester, looking at those 10,000 years, what's called the Great Experiment on planet Earth, the human creation of civilization. Week 3, civilization. So week 2 is where we begin. Week 3 is the ascent of humanity. Week 4 is civilization. Week 5 is awakenings of power. Because in civilization, wherever civilizations began to take shape, we humans began to create great new powers. That's Frodo wearing the ring. J.R. Tolkien knew his history a little bit, and power and how we use power is very important. Awakenings of power. And we're going to look there, for example, at the important developments in the Mesopotamian culture of the Middle East. We'll look at civilization beginning around the rivers of the world in India, around Pakistan now, where we have the Indus River, for example, the Yellow and Yangtze rivers in China, and then in the Americas, as well as in Africa too, around the Nile River. And you're going to start to see how these societies begin to create and who's got the power, who doesn't. Then in week 6, spells of our god kings. And that's where we're really going to get into the great Roman Empire, because the rise and fall of the Roman Empire is a very important story about the belief that our leaders are divine. And we begin to change that later in history. We begin to learn. As a great German philosopher once said, Immanuel Kant, humans early on gave themselves a self-inflicted immaturity. We were children in our early societies. We relied on these bigger men, godlike, we thought, to lead us. And then this idea of human rights started to emerge, democracy and freedom, and we start to take on more of the responsibility of governing our lives. That's created even more difficulty for us. So spells of our god kings, then we get into a greater world. So week 7, a greater world, when we look at how the world starts to come together, different civilizations through the power of trade, commerce, and you're going to meet the first global citizens, people like Leo Africanus, a great trader in northern Africa, or Marco Polo, of course, who was the first person from the West to go to the East and united the Asian world with the European world. Then we go to the conquest. And that's when the one hemisphere, if we had a map of the world up there, I would show you, we see the whole world east of the Atlantic Ocean. We call the Eastern Hemisphere. That's Europe, that's Africa, that's all going all the way to Japan and the Far East. That's the Eastern Hemisphere. The Eastern Hemisphere is going to meet the Western Hemisphere. That's the Americas, North America, South America, the Caribbean. All of those areas are going to encounter one another, and it's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be awful. The indigenous peoples are going to be largely wiped out. You will understand now why it's so important that we listen closely to the land claims of indigenous peoples today, why we understand what kinds of abuse and exploitation they suffered at the hands of the so-called powerful Europeans who raped them and stole their money and took their land, and why they want that back, because it happened at the conquest 500 years ago, and it happened largely because the Europeans said, the people that you meet over here, if they don't become Christian, they're just dogs. Do what you want with them. I'll show you the evidence. Then after the conquest, there is the next chapter in the story, freedom's power. I think you're going to like this. And that's when we move from the 1500s and 1600s, when the two hemispheres came together, and we're going to see this idea. It was always there, but we weren't ready for it. It's like a child. You tell a child something, to fill its head with lots of things, it's not ready. We now want to be more free. We start to grow up. We cut the heads off of the kings and the queens and all those authoritarian strong men. But then we have a new problem. Every time there's an advance, it's always a double-edged sword. It's called the paradox of progress. Anytime you get something new, there's a new problem you've got to deal with. And our problems keep getting bigger as our victories get bigger too. We've just got new stuff to deal with. It never gets great. That's not the way life is. It's very complicated. Then we get, after freedom's power, to humanity's stain. And that's where we humans finally confront this idea. Almost every single society that grew into an empire or was important in human history relied on slavery to get there. The British weren't the only ones who did it. The Americans did it. The Muslims did it. The great Islamic empire, incredible empire, they relied massively on slavery too. How about the caste system in India? Break it down. There are all these people down there that are garbage, the untouchables. All of this hierarchy of people who are less, and you just sort of use those people to get what you want. That's humanity's stain. Everybody's been doing it. But then we kind of end it, or we try to. We end slavery. And then we get into the 20th century. Woo! The most dramatic, tumultuous, that's the next one, Maureen, the 20th century, week 11. We're going to spend a couple of classes there looking at that 100 years of incredible growth. The world population from 1800 up until 2000 grew about 7 billion. It went from 1 billion to 8 billion. And there was a big growth in just a 100-year period in the 20th century. That's when we're going to get all the new science and tech, the two bloodiest, costliest wars in human history, the world wars. Well, you're going to see a lot. And then we're going to end, after the 20th century, with the biggest idea that is all about our past and our future. I'm going to ask some of you if any of you might be guessing on what might be the fundamental force that is driving everything on planet Earth. It's a natural force. We humans are part of it. And we've kind of accelerated it. But we need to understand it. And we're really going to take a deep dive into it in the final class. We're going to look back and we're going to look forwards at that force. One word. What do you think it is? You can just try, okay? You don't have to know anything right now, so early on. I love this. I'm seeing a student think. He's not quite, but the student said, by the way, climate. Okay, just for the ones who didn't hear, it's not climate. No. But weather and climate have been driving what happens on planet Earth. That's true. For example, the Ice Age, the last Ice Age that ended and we humans began to create civilizations. We almost died, we humans, in the early Ice Age. We react against the climate, but there's something else there. Alec? Let's do a little brainstorm, okay? So keep another column to the, just put to the, yeah, on the right side, okay? So student thoughts. The fundamental force is. Are you getting a sense now of how much, well, maybe I'm being selfish. I enjoy this as a professor, but how much better it is to do the slides ourselves like this, where we create the information together? Is that, yes?
I enjoy it.
You enjoy it? Okay, you don't have to. You don't have to tell me what you think I want to know. If you don't want to tell me anything, don't. If you can't stand being here, you want to leave, it's okay. So the first was climate. What's your name, by the way? Raven. Raven. Okay, so Raven. Can you put climate? Raven. Okay. Immigration, Alec. We're doing a little bit of digging right now. We're mental digging. We're trying to understand what is the fundamental force in our story that we're going to come to at the end, that we're going to try and really understand, because it's going to tell us so much about our future. And this is good. This is good. So for now, you can just say it and I'll repeat. What is it? Gravity. What's your name? How do you? Well, can you do me a favor? Can you go over to Mayreen and spell your name for her? So she puts it there, and he said gravity. Well, that's a natural force. That's true. But gravity has not been defining and shaping civilization quite this way. Good. Technology, we're getting warm now, okay? Technology, nice, because there's a very fundamental force here. We really have to understand it. What's your name? Joseph, way to go, Joseph, okay? Yes. Innovation, the warmest. Yes. Yes, but it's under the revolution in the same way that it was there when we humans diverged from our primate ancestors and began to come down onto the ground and became bipedal. And we used our hands, and our hands gave us power. Meanwhile, all the gorillas and apes are still there, but they haven't figured out how to rise. There it is. Way to go. Who said that? Way to go, Raven. Okay? Evolution. See, good. Everybody, I love the fact that online in the chat, there's some things going on there. It's like, I look at these live chats sometimes like the planes arriving at the Toronto airport. You're seeing new things appear, things coming in and landing. So a thought has landed in the live chat. Matt said fear, and Kyle said oxygen. Matthew said knowledge. But innovation, I think, gets us warm, because innovation is kind of about change. Change on this planet is utterly and irreversibly natural. When you start to get this larger planet-wide view of the human story, and you start to wonder and think, what has been going on here? The fact is that everything's been changing. There were these little cells here once upon a time, billions of years ago. We call them prokaryotes, single-cell organisms. You'll see that. Then those cells clumped together into eukaryotes and became multiple cells, and then gradually life and took form, and shapes emerged. And out of these shapes of adapting and adjusting to the climate and environment, we've got these new creatures, and everything changes. Now, a religious person might raise his or her hand and say, but wait a minute. The scriptures don't say that. The scriptures don't say that we were once just little organisms and we come from lower forms of life. But actually, I've learned, reading my scriptures a little more closely, the Torah, or what Christians call the Old Testament, or Muslims would, listening to a wonderful person like Mayreen and her family, that actually Islam, probably Hinduism, Buddhism, and Zoroastrianism, they were already thinking about some of these things too. They were not so locked in, boxed into, humans are the supreme creatures and everything else is inferior. There was imagination too. You can interpret some of these scriptures to see that we were thinking. Evolution is a very hard thing for all of us to understand, because it means, ultimately, You have to look at yourself in the mirror at the end of the day and go, how am I going to change? And then you might say, but I'm still the same as I always was. But wait, no, you were a fetus once. And then you were an infant. You remember those days? No. Are you ready for how much you're going to change? Are you ready for a society in the future in which humans are changing? Or would you rather the men be here and the women be here, for example? Would you rather that the Jew be here, the Muslim be here, the Christian be here, the Jamaican be here, the Kenyan be here, and everybody's got their place? Well, you could, but humans just keep wanting more. Technology keeps taking us further. We keep bringing ourselves together. So we have to deal with the fact that we're all together now on this bloody thing. You ready for that? Here's the other force, and then we're going to stop, okay? This is even tougher than evolution. And it's natural. It's called complexity. This is the other great force. Can you write that? And then we'll stop. We're going to look in that final class at these two forces that have been there. The current, it's the iceberg underneath the berg. It's what's there all along, moving the river of time and growth and change. It's evolution. Everything's getting more complex. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Who has seen that movie? Have you seen it? Yeah, good. Great movie, right? Isn't it amazing? Yeah, won the Academy Award, right? There's something in that title that's absolutely bang on in terms of where we're at today and where humans are at, and we got to deal with it. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Now, if you really want to despair and go, I can't handle this, you can shoot yourself and say, I got to get out of this world. I can't, the stress is too much. Or you can come to this class and start to think like an astronaut. Deal with the stress of a complex world. Deal with the stress that things are changing. And go for it. Take advantage of it. I'm not going to build a wall around myself. I'm not going to escape into my own little world. I'm going to go out there. And as Immanuel Kant said, the great philosopher, I'm going to dare to know. I'm not afraid to know. The larger the island of knowledge, the longer the shoreline of wonder. Love that line. I'm still trying to find out who said it. Can we just write that in one slide and then I'm going to stop? The larger the island of knowledge, the longer the shoreline of wonder. The more you start to know, hopefully, you're going to be inspired. You're going to get a sense of the wonder and miracle of existence on this planet. That is, it's phenomenal what's been going on here, and you won't be scared anymore. I hope. So evolution and complexity, that's underneath, but it's going to be a ride. Is it making sense? Do you get a sense of where we're going? And each week, and okay, you must have a question or two about assessment. And let's do a quick slide, okay, together? Thanks. Called assessment this semester, okay? Really fast. Number one, participation, 20% of my mark, my grade. Each week, for those of you who are coming in person, you will do a little question at the end of the class that you email to me, and you put your name there. And then I put that in the spreadsheet, and I go, well, yep, there's Alex's question. He was here, tick, he gets 3 out of 3. He gets his 1.5% for participation. And for those of you online, Matt and Maurice and Kyle and Erica and Corey, who showed up, but they didn't really show up, but they kind of showed up. It's okay. They will also get a participation mark. Probably it will be 2 out of 3 each week, but we'll see. I'm working on that, guys, okay? If you think that's fair, Maurice or Matt, I can't mark you for participation in the same way that I would mark people who are here in person. If you really want those participation marks, you got to come here, and you've got to think that this class is kind of important. However, for the onliners, if there's 1 or 2 of you that's actually jumping in and like Adrian talking and showing your face, you get 3 out of 3 because you've made an attempt to participate. Is that, Kyle, is that fair? 2 out of 3 is fair? Okay, good. Yeah, okay, so we got it in the live chat, great. And then for the people just watching the recordings, I'm working on adding a little bit of an extra work for them to take place that 20% that they missed here. So everybody's going to be getting the same kind of assessment in the end. But for those of you who are coming each week in class here, you're definitely going to get your 3 out of 3 if you come to the class and you do your question at the end. Good? That's 20% of your grade. The 80%, the rest, reflection number 1, 15%. Reflection number 2, 15%. Reflection number 3, 20%. Reflection number 4, 30%. That should be 100%. No exams, no tests, no quizzes. I used to do that, and it was just it was a kind of a waste of time. It was fun, but the reflections are really the way I can assess how deeply you're thinking. You're going to be doing a lot of writing. A lot of writing, yes. The reflections will be based on what are the big ideas that we covered in the class. You will take something from the class. Usually it will be, you'll look at 3 classes. I will give you, so for example, Alec, good question. Reflection 1, worth 50%. You'll do a 425 to 450 word reflection where you'll think about the first 3 classes, and then you'll explain what you think was really critical in that. And you'll do the same in reflection 2 for classes 4, 5, and 6. But the reflection, the final one, worth 30%, that's an essay. That's a big essay. So you're going to write a big essay at the end, 1,400 to 1,500 words. Yes. Yes, absolutely. We make a PDF. Great question, because what's your name? Damon. Great, because we're going to make sure, well, we always have those notes available on DC Connect. There's a module for each class. So on the content, what you'll see every week is, for example, after today's class, in about 24 hours, you'll see the recording of today's class pop up on the announcements page. And then the announcements page will say, here's the recording. If you want more, go to the content page and go to class 1. And you open that folder and you see the recording again, and then you see the notes. So you can have a whole record through that of all the classes. And you would use that as your material to review for your reflections. Making sense? Yeah. But I'm glad that's a very good question. Okay, so I really want to stop. Good. Thanks, Adrian. Sounds good. And there you go for assessment. For now, the best part of today's class is about to start, as far as I'm concerned. But generally speaking, there will always be this kind of lecture I give with a lot more on the video wall. But what I'd like all of you to do right now is, could you please stand, all of you? Great. And Alec, I'll take this. Yep. Okay. Yeah, thanks. Great. So let me just count what we're doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I think I've got that right. I would like 10 people right now to line up, and I'll count to 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You 10, could you line up shoulder to shoulder facing this way, please? And you can do it right in front of the podium, okay? So I will come to everybody online in a moment. So the first 10 are in a line, shoulder to shoulder, facing that way. Now, great, and spread it right out so we've got it all good. So all the people online can see their classmates too. Now, I'd like the rest of you to line up in front of them, and you should be in front of one person. And let's see how it lines up. Yep, exactly. That way. So we're going to be doing a little bit of speed meeting. Not quite speed dating, but speed meeting. So good, Alec, you're in front of somebody. Excellent. Okay. Let's see if it's all lines up evenly. If not, then it will be two of you that will be attached. So you want to push the couches out a little bit so we can make room? Great. Okay, so let's see this is nice. Okay, so let me just come around and see. So is everybody in front of one person, or is somebody kind of wondering? Yes. Come on over here. What's your name? Fatu? Welcome, Fatu. Could you be with the two of you are going to be, twins. You're going to be attached, moving together as one, okay? Great. Okay, so here you go. Now, when I say go, I'd like the people in this line to tell the person in front of them who they are, introduce yourself, and just a little bit about what you'd like to achieve in this course, what you're hoping to get out of it. And then let the person in front of you, after listening, do the same thing for about a minute or two. So basically, the two of you are meeting and learning a bit about each other and what you want from this course. And then I'm going to go switch. And I want everybody to step to their left once, so that you're going to be in front of a new person. And you're going to do the same thing over again. Okay? Good? And if you're at the end, you come around, okay? Exactly, Alex. So you'll see the two of you will come around as well, okay? You're going to the left, and eventually there might be a bit of a train wreck of people, but it's okay. That is, fun. And then what we're going to do is in 15 or 20 minutes, I'm going to have you all go back to your seats, and we're going to take up some of your answers. While you're doing that, I'm going to talk to the people online, okay, and get them ready for something. All good? Go ahead. Start your engines. Good. Okay, so now I'm going to come online here. Okay. Hi, Adrian. Can you hear me still nice and clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Let's see. You can communicate with me now on the live chat, okay? That's
Okay.
all right, because I may not be able to hear you.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
see. Matt, could you just let me know that you can hear me in the live chat and go, yes, I can hear you, Lon? Excellent. Okay. So for all of you in the cosmos right now, I call you the cosmos. You're the planets orbiting around us. Planet K, Planet EP. I want all of you to think now. Give some thought about what you would like to get out of this course. And then I want you to write it nice and clearly in the live chat. And we're going to take that up with the rest of the class. And I will be also saving the live chat at the end of the class. And this will be a resource for everybody too. So please give some thought to what you're expecting, and let's start seeing some things roll into the live chat, pop in the live chat that are interesting, that you want to achieve out of the class, okay? Does anyone have any questions? Or if I don't see anybody say anything in the live chat, I'm going to assume that everybody understands. So go ahead and please start. Okay, good. Okay, so I'm going to just shut my microphone for a moment. Actually, I'm going to leave it on in case I have to. Oh, you can get the space station up, you think? Way to go. Yeah, go for it. Go for it. Okay, so we can get the space station up. Mayurine's going to do that. Good. Okay. I've come over here to the smartboard and I'm just looking at the slides. Yeah, good. So we've got our assessment slide, and let's see. That looks great, Maureen. Thanks. Yeah, very nice. So for all of you online, just so you know, Maureen has now been able to put up the International Space Station's live view of planet Earth. It's on the video wall right now. And we are now live from the space station. It's dark because it's orbiting over Russia right now, and it's night. Good, Maurice. I figured this would be an interesting class, not knowing what the exact base of the class would be. I am excited to learn more about old empires and other historic events. Maurice, are you getting a sense that this class is going to give you a much larger view of history? A more planet-wide view? Good, Matt. It'd be incredibly interesting gaining a deeper understanding of how other elements. Yes, Raven, thank you. I got lost. Switch now. I'm talking to the online. Yes, switch, please. Switch. Yes, step to your left. Oh, one step to go around. Good. Is there a train wreck happening, or is everybody in a new place with a new person? Start again. Yeah, you're going to come around. Yeah, exactly. So you should be in front of a new person. This is where push. So were you with him before? Okay, so come for now. Just stick with him. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we'll figure it out later. Okay, you got a train wreck. Then what do you have? You have two people.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys, then who are you with? Right. It should be a new person. Are you new?
Yeah.
Then you stay with him right now, okay? And you can stay over here with him, and you can stay with Raven, okay? Yeah, you move with Raven. As long as you're meeting new people, okay? Yeah. All right. Ah, Erica, religion and the history behind it. Good, Maurice. Yeah, that's a really important part of today's class, Maurice, is to get an idea that you are going to really have this larger, what we call overview effect, which is we're looking at the whole planet now and the human story, what's been happening on this planet. And so we need to situate the human in the story of what's been happening before the human got here. So it's the story of humanity. Great. Religion, yes, Erica, that's such a vital force in the story. You'll get to understand the critical religions and how religion, Erica, came to even be developed in the first place. Religion was invented by humans. Why did we invent religion? You'll start to understand that. So keep putting your expectations in, and I'll manage this activity here. To explain the unexplainable? Is that what you mean, Alex? To explain the unexplainable? To explain the inexplicable? Okay, switch. We'll keep it moving. Yep. Go ahead. Ooh. I hope I'm not. Yes. Good. Okay, I'll try to keep going.
I think the confusion comes with at the end.
At the end, yeah. Okay. Keep. I'm going to try and let's see for a second. I'll do it at the next one, okay? I'll rejig everything. Okay, you're okay? Yeah, good. Okay. Yeah, on human evolution and war. That's for sure. Yeah. I bet, Mubarak, you're wondering if war is something that we could reduce in the world, or do you think that war will always be with us? Is that what you're worried about, perhaps? Or are you interested in strategy and tactics? And why? How was it that Napoleon achieved such incredible victories, or Julius Caesar was able to defeat the Gauls? Maybe you will see, Mubarak, in the bigger story that war does not have to be with us. Okay, good. We're back. I've got my batteries in. Okay, Maurice, yeah, I should be back. You should all hear me now. Alex, can you hear me? Great. Okay. Maurice, could you hold your thought, and then when we do the take up, you can use your microphone. If not, please go ahead and enter what you want to say into the live chat. Okay? Okay. Let's see. We got to get you into here. Okay? Why don't you come 1, 2, 3, here, here. Okay? Just a second. Why don't you come over here? Okay? Alec is going to be with you. Okay? You're one person. Okay? You move with him for now. Okay? Yes, the two of you are moving together. Okay? Let's see how it goes. All right, switch, please. Go down 1. Everybody steps 1 to the left, and you're going to move with him to the left. So there should be a new person for you. Okay? Is there a new person? Great. Okay. So you stay with him, and that will be your person. Great. Okay. Please carry on. Good. Okay, so I think we're in good shape. I could have those disappear. But we'll leave that for now. Okay, so let's see. Has everybody online put their expectation in? I'm just going to go through the live chat right now and see. So, definitely we have Adrian, we have, I'll go back here and see. Good, so Corey Jean, yep, you're in there. Alex, of course, you're in there. Kyle, good. Then there's Matt. Yep, we've got Matt in. Maurice, of course. Adrian, yep. Maurice. Eric is back. Alex. Mubarak is there. Adrian, Alex, Maurice. Last switch. One more, and then we're going back to your seats. Last switch. Okay. I hope I'm not shouting in your ears, guys. My apologies. Jaskaran, I think it is. Jaskaran? Hello, Jaskaran. Are you there? Planet JC? Great. I don't see yet anything from you in the live chat. Do you know what I want you to do, or do you feel confused? Okay. If you're confused, just go "I'm confused" in the live chat, okay, and I will help you. Okay. I'm not going to push that. The audio is cut off again? Okay, again and again. All right. Jaskaran, what I'd like you to do, can you hear me now clearly? All right, just watch the class. That's okay. We will come back. Okay, so Jaskaran, please write what is your biggest expectation for the class? Go ahead. Okay, everybody, please return to your seats. Please return to your seats. Thank you. Please return. Very good. Way to go. We have 15 minutes left. And could you bring the couches? If you see the couches are flying out of the side of the frame here, could you bring them, push them back in so the online classmates can see you clearly? Okay. You might have to. Excellent. Way to go. That was just a little taste of the kinds of activities you're going to be doing, which is they will be interactive, there will be teamwork. And now is the big part of the class, which is we're going to take this all up together. We need to hear from you. And this time, it won't be Mayreen making notes. It's going to be one of you. So here's my question to get this one going. Is there anybody here who really likes to write? Who enjoys or feels that writing is something that gives them pleasure and it doesn't intimidate them, but nobody. Writing tends to be something everybody hates. What's that? What kind of writing? Well, how about just taking notes? No. How about writing good emails? What's that? That's typing? Oh, wait. Well, okay. Let me just stop because I'm getting off on a tangent down a creek and I want to come back. That was a long way of trying to select a person who's going to go and do the notes this time. But I wanted to tell that person because I expected maybe one, and I would say to all of you, writing, you are going to see in the human story, is one of the most important powers that humans have created for themselves. And you're going to learn how we humans began to write and why we did that and why that's so important in every society. So the act of writing is a very, very important part of the whole human story. And the act of writing is very important in this class because you will be doing a lot of writing. And I believe the act of writing is very important in order to become a better thinker. So there's a lot I could say about writing, but I would like one person who feels reasonably confident right now to go up and create a slide, and we're going to tell that person what to write. And it's going to be their slide, and it's going to be their take-up notes. Who will that person be? Now, if I could sweeten the pot a little bit and say that that person is going to get a little bit of a bonus today for participation because he or she, I can see how this is not so easy. So why don't we just, to keep things moving, have Mayreen do this, okay? But eventually, I'm going to start moving people over there and telling you that you have to go right. And then if you feel uncomfortable, let me know, and then we will put somebody else there. There are a lot of international students I deal with, and a lot of them can't write very well, and their English is not so good. And I send them to tutors, and you will get help that you need. Be on guard. Everybody online, recordings here. I care about good writing, really good writing, rewriting, making every word count, because I believe it makes you a stronger thinker. So just get ready, okay? Mayreen, do you want to go and Raven, you ready? Okay, look at this. Well, I'm just going to make a little note just so I don't forget. Look at how I'm using the active writing, not to forget. Raven. Little bonus today. Raven. Bonus. Written down, not forgotten. This is why we started to write. We humans, you will see, we got overwhelmed with the information coming at us. And so we created this way of getting it out of our head and onto something we could see so we could control. Because if you keep everything in your head and you don't put it out onto something, you get really messed up. Is that making sense? Raven. Raven's take-up. Could you write that? Nice and clearly, Raven's take-up. Yep. Look at that. The alphabet is being written. An A and a V. I mean, we could get any other language in there too. We could get Arabic or beautiful script, but we won't ask Maureen to write that for now. Or how about Hindi or Punjabi? Okay, Raven. Raven, get us started. Based on what you heard, and you can't go to your machine and go to autopilot or artificial intelligence and say, tell me what to say. It's got to come out of your head, and it's got to come out of your memory. He's got to use his memory. What would you say was something really important that came out about what people are expecting? Just something, or it could be what you think, but just write something there that came out of that little activity that you think, everybody is kind of thinking about. Isn't it cool to watch somebody write? Yeah. I miss the Bourne Identity movies. Love them. Madrid, Spain. Matt Damon is over here. Berlin, Germany. Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And here's Tom Cruise. No, he wouldn't be in Bourne Identity, would he? It'd have to be Matt Damon. Watching things get written is actually can be dramatic. All he's doing is writing. Let's look at this beautiful moment of a human being with his hand taking a language and putting it down in front of everybody. This is a power you may not fully understand, but you will. What a power. All right, Raven's going. And so let Raven keep going, and then we're going to start adding some things here. And I will, make a few notes and then add that to what Raven has said. But why don't we start over here and get a microphone for our young, thank you. Okay, you okay to speak? Yeah? What's your name? Amber.
Yes.
Hi, Amber. Wow, amber is like an amazing thing from nature that preserves things from millions of years ago. I'm going to show you the feather of a dinosaur preserved in amber from about 65 million years ago. It's coming soon, okay? Amber.
From what people told me, they want to learn more about the evolution of the world.
Evolution of the world, okay? Yeah, evolution of the world. Yeah. Excellent, Amber, thanks. Let's pass the microphone around and give Amber, I should say, not Amber, we have a new specimen in front of us, a beautiful thing, a human being. What's your name?
My name is Will,
Will? Okay.
and from what I got out of that activity was a lot of people want to learn like the starting point of civilization, like the creation of even different planets, starting point of different planets. So that's what I got out of this activity.
Excellent. Well, we're gonna get to the starting point of civilization in week 3, and we often say it's usually about, and I can just, spoiler here, I can tell you right now, it's about 10,000 years ago. Okay, that's the generally accepted world historical date, and that's when humans began to move more around rivers because the ice melted and there was more water and we could settle around rivers. We are living in between ice ages right now. But you'll see. So essentially, and there were about 5 million humans on the planet at that point. Just 5 million estimated. And then in that time, from 10,000 up to now, we've gone to 8 billion and growing at a very fast rate. So yeah, starting point. Nice. Okay, thanks, Will. Next student, what's your name?
Sorry. Sorry. My name is Tala.
Yes, how do you spell that?
T-A-L-H-A.
T-A-L-H-A. Talha.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Talha.
So what I picked up from this activity is that that majority of people want to learn about the the past civilization and the upcoming civilization.
Upcoming civilization. Ooh. How are we going to know about upcoming civilizations by knowing about past civilizations? We might be able to. It's a very good question, Alec? What's that? Trends, exactly. We're going to look at trends. I call them enduring forces. The currents. So evolution and complexity are enduring forces. So we can say, Talha, that if we're looking at future civilizations, we need to understand some of these forces that have been there. There will be a future civilization. We will change. It will be more complex. What will that look like? We don't know, but we can get a sense of its shape from the forces and trends. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's good. Okay, let me just go online for a second and see, because I know Maurice wants to say something, and then we're going to start to conclude. We can't get to everybody today. We can review this next week when we start with where we begin. But Maurice, would you please jump on your microphone and read what you've written in the live chat? Can you do that? Let's see. Here's Planet MM. Let's see if we get anything from that planet. That planet may need a paramedic. Is anybody here from paramedic program? What about firefighting? I'm worried. Planet MM is silent. Okay. Well, just a second. Just before Planet MM went silent, it emitted these words. Hey, Professor, I have injured my hands many times as a soccer goalie, and through work my hands shake a lot, and I tend to apply too much pressure while writing. That could cause pain in my hands and wrist. Fair enough. Okay. So you can't write. Can you speak? Well, okay. We're not going to put any pressure on that. How about Erica, Planet EP? Hello, Erica? Come in. Any life there? Planet EP?
Hello.
Ooh, you're alive?
Yes, I am alive.
Whew.
It was not
I was
working.
worried. I was really worried about that planet. I don't know, maybe in another solar system. And we only have, I don't know, 7 or 8 other planets in ours. So, but you're okay.
Yes,
We,
I am.
well, Erica from Planet EP, would you be able to read to us what you wrote in the live chat about your expectation?
For the class?
Yeah, I know you wrote something, right? Over here?
Yes.
Yeah. Could you just scroll back to what you, here it is. Would you just read out loud what you wrote?
In the chat,
Yes.
I came across this class and thought it would be good to learn new things and getting a deeper understanding of religion and history behind it.
Yeah. Thank you for identifying religion. The 2 greatest intellectual forces in this story talk about trends, science and religion, and technology too. But religion has been there since the beginning. It's going to be there in the future. The question is, what's it going to look like? Will there always be one God? Or are we going to go back to many gods? Let's not forget, the 2 great empires of the Mediterranean world, the Western world, Greece and Rome, were pagan, polytheistic. They believed in multiple gods. But there was Abraham, and there was Moses, and there was Jesus, and there was Muhammad, and there was Zoroaster, and there was the Buddha, and in Hinduism or Punjabi, there's others too. But there were these prophets that came along and said, there's only one. There's only one, guys. We're going to really look into this, Erica, to understand what religion means to humans and why is it always there and why will it probably always be there. But we're at the end of the class. We've landed somewhere, and we have Raven and his notes And what we're going to do is we're going to do the final part of the class. Every week is I'm going to write, and Raven, could you just write this in nice big letters? I'm going to spell out my email address for all of you. Lon, L-O-N, .Appleby, because this is where I want you to go, including all of you out in the cosmos and on the other planets. Lon.Appleby, Lon.Appleby, lon.appleby@durhamcollege.ca. And I'll put that in the live chat. But Mubarak, can you see Raven writing that on the big board right now? Well, Planet MY, I'm not sure. It could be me. We will assume the cosmos is, oh, it could be me. No, you can't. Okay, so I'll put it in the live chat. So here we go. lon.appleby@durhamcollege.ca. All of you. And all of you watching the recordings, if you actually watch to the end of the recording, I never know, but we won't go there yet. Would you please send me an email right now, all of you? All you have to do is send that with one question that you would like answered. And underneath the question, please write your full name. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that your participation. I'm going to go to my spreadsheet this weekend, and I'm going to check those. And if you don't put your email in there with your question and your name, you will not get the participation mark today. It will be 0 out of 3, not 3 out of 3. You don't want that. And for all of you in the cosmos, please do the same in order for you to get your 2 out of 3 today. And Raven has not only written it clearly and spelled it, but Raven's calligraphy, Raven's writing is controlled and calm and connected. And this is a human being we want to watch. That's a good, smart human being. Everybody wants to be writing well. If not, I will get you the help. Okay? So anybody have any trouble getting the email sent? Because once it's sent, you can disembark this classcraft. Yes. What's that? A question. Just a question. Just one question. That's all. Based on today's class. No? Anything? Any question you want answered? This is a classroom. We have more questions than answers. I'll let the politicians try and tell you about answers and make you really angry. Okay, so everybody online, Shadman, Planet SK, hi. Are you real? Are you alive? Planet SK. Should we come rescue you? Do you have any questions? Are you wandering the surface of Mars like Matt Damon in The Martian, trying to figure out, can I survive here on Mars, or should I try and get back to Earth, where it's even worse? Oh, well. Way to go, everybody. I think everybody knows what they have to do. I'll let you finish up with that question. I'm going to stay here and clean up. But we are officially landing, and you can leave those notes there for us, and Maureen will save them. Yes. Can I confirm? Yeah, sure. I will do that right now. Let's go over to email. Here we are. Here we go. We got coming in Erica, Cheyenne, William, Damon, Talha, Alec. Oh, I have to peek at Alec's question. Why has many technology, as example, okay, Alec, can you translate and put that into proper English? It's what, can you read that again? I'm scratching my head here. Yeah. What is it? Yes. Well, their sewer system certainly hasn't.
No, but for example, the creation.
The roads. What?
No, but the roads are still standing, but
Mm.
the idea or how they
Fair enough.
created those aren't being used today because they've been lost to time.
Here's a tough question for you. Why did the Romans build this incredible network of roads of thousands of miles and they never could do a curve? All the roads were straight. It went this way straight. They never have a curve. It's all straight. The Via Appia coming out of Rome went just straight, beautiful bricks and rocks and everything. Why couldn't they figure out the engineering of, having a curve, a bend in the road? What was wrong with the Romans? And why didn't they bother going across the English Channel? Why was Julius Caesar such a wuss and he just stayed in France and then came back? They were scared of the water. Oh, well. And you're going to learn that Julius Caesar, by the way, according to Plutarch, was an epileptic. No way. Mr. Tough Guy was an epileptic? Not possible. Anyways, I got lots of stuff for you. Okay, thanks. Okay, see you next week, everybody. I got to save things and make sure everything's under control. Have a great week.
Thank you very much.
Alec, thanks. Thanks for contributing. Thank you. It's Damon? Yeah, Damon, see you next week. I was going to ask you. You're reading my mind. Thanks. Yeah, great. Let's do it, okay? And I'm going to save the live chat and, okay. Yeah, I've got it here. That will really help. Thanks. Perfect. Okay. So, let's see. Good. Everybody's coming in. We'll let that continue. We're going to save the live chat. See you next week, everyone. Okay. Have that. Okay. Great. Okay, we'll let that continue. I think we have another class coming in, so I'm not sure, but okay, thank you. See you next week. Oh, look at that live view of the South Pacific. Very nice. Yeah. Random question. Yeah, just a question, Raven. Way to go. Okay. All right, so I'm going to save the live chat and get that. Okay. So that's saved. Very good. That's going over to the dock. I'm going to end the live stream. Let's stop the live stream.